Welcome to Recovery Sunday. I'm going to show you a deep twist today, a pose that's called Wheel of Life. And basically it's going to get into your hips, and it's a great spinal twist, and neck and shoulders are involved. So the only caution I would say is if you've had spinal fusion or surgery on your back, you might want to check with your doctor or physical therapist before you do this. And a couple props that might be handy would be maybe a small pillow, or a large pillow is fine too. And if you have a yoga brick, you might find that handy. We're going to come down to it in stages, so it'll all make sense in a minute. We'll start on our backs though, with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. I'm going to take you through a movement first that might help open you up just a little bit before we come into this pose. So we'll cross our left ankle just above our right knee. And this is going to open up the left hip a little bit. You can just take a couple breaths here to kind of let that relax. And then pushing into your foot and rolling from the outside edge to the inside edge of the foot as you slowly rock everything back and forth. So this is going to rock you over your SI joints, which could feel quite good. So this in itself is a good recovery tool that you could do after a game or even before a game. So after I do that a few times, I'm going to have you drop your left foot down to the floor and back your heels up just a little bit and push into your feet. Lift your hips up and drop them over to the left, and then sway your knees, both of them, over to the right. So ideally you would want your left knee up against the bottom of the right foot, but it may not be there yet, and that's okay. Mine's not. I'm doing my tight side for you guys so you can see that I have tightness too. And then I'm going to roll over to my right side and start to transition more onto that right hip as I'm moving my torso toward my mat or the ground. First stage, we'll come down to our forearms into this bent arm position called Sphinx. And I want you to work on relaxing the belly here and the outside of that left hip. That might be screaming at you. That's okay. Just do what you can to breathe and relax here. So maybe 5 breaths here, and then we're going to come down a little lower. Now, if you already know it might be a little difficult for you, this is where that pillow comes in handy to help support my torso and my chest. Because the idea behind this pose is that we get our chest down to the floor. So if you need a little help there, you could also use the brick as well, or a book. If you're at school, you could take a book and use that to support. You just wrap a towel or a blanket around it to make it a little bit more soft. And then start to relax a little deeper into this. Take a couple breaths in this position. And then you're going to find that you're getting lower as time goes on. You might want to support the forehead with the brick or the block. And then we're going to add a little bit of juice in the upper body. So I'm going to bring my right hand right next to my chest with my palm down so that I have a little leverage to push there. And I'm going to reach my left hand toward my dog. The dog is optional, by the way. You don't have to have a dog. And I'm going to work on a little bit of dynamicness in my shoulders and the upper part of my body here. Again, I can rest my forehead. I might not quite be ready for the last movement, which would be to turn the cheek and the left ear and support them either on the block or the floor. And again, once you get down here, take 10 to 15 breaths if you can, or whatever your body will allow. And then come out the same way you came in. So bring the hands back first, and maybe lift yourself up and come into the Sphinx version that we started with, and take a couple breaths there. And then push up into your palms. Push yourself all the way back up to that seated position and rotate around so that you come back down to your back again. I always think it's nice to take a couple breaths right here and just notice what you feel in your body right now after that. And then we would do the other side. So we would start, remember, with this motion here. So this time crossing the right ankle just above the left knee. Couple of breaths, and then start your rocking motion from your foot, inner and outer edge of the foot. Once you're done, drop the right foot down, back the heels up a little bit, push into the feet, and move the hips over to the right, because we're going to be coming on to the left side now. So knees go to the left, and then again, just roll right on over. Push yourself up. And once you get upright, take a nice deep breath here and get long in your spine before you start to come out and twist down. So remember, here first, add support if you need it, and just work on getting down lower. So take your time. That's it for this week. See you next week. Have a great week.